Hello everyone, this video is from GET 2023 from the topic partial differential equation. But before starting the video, let me say something. I I make a video on the non-homogeneous wave equation. This and I hope you have seen this solution. Look here, this was given that it was a finite length, but I used the D'Alembert solution, and the D'Alembert solution is valid for infinite string. Okay, so I forget to explain that how, even if it is a finite length, then how still this works. Okay, I forget to explain this. I hope in another video I will explain the whole matter about that, why after, even if it is a finite length, why we can apply this D'Alembert solution and how we have to modify these things. So we will discuss these things in another video, but for now let us discuss our question. So they have said that this is a wave equation. Okay, now they have given this ux0, that means initial displacement and the initial velocity. And look here, this x is from minus infinity to infinity, right? So that means x is belongs to r, whole r. So that means here we can apply the D'Alembert solution clearly. Okay, now they are asking that what is the domain of dependence if the domain of dependence of u at the point phi is the line segment. Okay, line segment on the x-axis with the endpoint q1 r. So they have actually given, already given the definition of domain of dependence. Now they are saying that if the triangle PQR is 80 square unit, then what is the value of this c square? Okay. Now before doing the question, let us take a little bit introduction about the domain of dependence at a point. So if this is your wave equation, okay, and the length is infinite, you know the solution of the D'Alembert formula that is given by this equation, right? That uxt is equal to this f of x minus ct plus f of x plus ct by 2, and this integration from x minus ct to x plus ct, right? So at any point x comma t, your solution is depending on this point x minus ct, x plus ct, and this interval x minus ct to x plus ct, right? So that means if you know the value at x minus ct and x plus ct, the initial value and the initial value, right? The initial displacement and the initial velocity, and then there is nothing more you know, need for this the value at the point x comma t. If you know the initial value at this point x minus ct and x plus ct, so on the interval, so if you know the interval, then you are done. Then you can find the value x comma t uxt, right? So that means the value is totally depending on the interval x minus ct to x plus ct, right? So this is your domain of dependence, x minus ct and x plus ct. Look here, so suppose you are interested to find the domain of dependence for the point x naught comma t naught. Okay, then what I said is the value is depending on this, right? So for x naught comma t naught, your solution will be what, f of x naught minus ct naught plus f of x naught plus ct naught. So it will depend on x naught minus c naught comma x naught comma c naught in this interval, right? So if this is your x naught comma c naught t naught, then this point will be what, x naught comma 0, because this is your t axis and this is your x axis. Okay, so on this x axis t is 0, so here will be your point x naught comma 0. This will be your point x naught comma 0. Okay, now the domain of dependence is what, x naught comma x naught minus ct naught. So this is your point and this is your point. So okay, and this line segment, okay, this ab, so this is the point a and this is the point b. So this line segment is called the domain of dependence for the point x naught comma t naught. Okay, now let's read our question. Our question says to find the domain of dependence at the point 3 comma 2. That means our x naught comma t naught is what, x naught is 3 and t naught is 2. So look here, so this is our point p, so this is the point p 3 comma 2. If this is the point 3 comma 2, here is the point 3 comma 0, right? This is t axis and this is your x axis. Okay, so if this is the point 3 comma 2, then what is the domain of dependence of this for this phi? If this is 3 comma 2, your domain of dependence is what, if the point is x naught comma t naught, your domain of dependence is x naught minus c t naught comma 0 to x naught plus c t naught comma 0. So this is the point x naught plus c t naught, this is the point x naught comma c t naught for the point x naught comma t naught. So here is the point 3 comma 2. So what will be your domain of dependence? The line segment from the point qr, and q is what, 3 minus 2c, because this is the point 3, this is the point 2, so x naught comma ct naught, so this is 3 minus 2c naught, this is here, sorry, ct naught, that means 3 minus 2c, and this is your point 3 comma 3 plus 2c comma 0. I am not writing the 0. So this is the line segment qr. Okay, so now it is your triangle pqr. Okay, so this is the line, what, this line is passing through the point 3 comma 2, and it's meeting at the x-axis. Okay, now if this is your triangle, can you tell me what is the area of the triangle? That's they have asked, that they have already given that the area of the triangle is 8 square. So if this is your triangle, now the area of the triangle will be what, the length of the base into the height. So this height is 2. Okay, and this length is what, here 3 minus 2c and here 3 plus 2c, that means 2c minus 2c is 4c. So 4c is the base and 2 is the height. So your area will be half into 4c into 2. That is they have given 8. That means for that you can get c equal to 2. If c equal to 2, they have asked c square is what. If c equal to 2, then your c square is what, 4. So hence is the answer. Now one thing I forget to mention here is that here your u is sin x and your ut is cos x. That means this sin x is, well, we have, this is a smooth function, right? And even this function is our one thing is required over here is your fx should belong to c2 and a gx should belong to c1. Okay, what happens if this if I relax these two condition, fx and gx, will our domain of dependence, will it affect on our domain of dependence? Do you know, can you think about it, that if fx and gx are not satisfying these two conditions, that means if I am relaxing any of the conditions of these two, so will the domain of dependence, will there be any effect on the domain of dependence? Please think about it. Okay, so hope this will help you and you understand the video. So if you understand the video, please subscribe the video and